Hey everybody, welcome to another blog from MaternityWise. I'm Ann Wallen. I'm the director of MaternityWise, and I'm here with Katie Hess, who is the founder of LotusWei and the San Center in Arizona, Phoenix, right?
Yep.
Awesome. Um, she's going to talk to us today about some really amazing things, like my latest obsession, these little scents that I really love, the aura mist, but I know you have other things. So we'll talk about the different stuff you have. But first of all, what is it? So these aura mists. So for example, if you've been to any of our trainings lately, you know that I like to spritz people as they leave with this one. It's called Boundless Wisdom. And because we're maternity wise, that just kind of goes along with all the stuff. But I like to spritz everybody and give them a hug as they walk out the door. Um, but talk to me about why this smells so good and why this makes people feel so good.
Yeah, so there's two things that we work with. The first is aromatherapy. Like obviously you can smell it in the mist and then in the anointing oils. I love working with essential oils. I love working with, seeds and leaves and flowers, and we're very, very, very strict about ingredients. We don't use any artificial fragrances.
Oh, I think we might have frozen. Are you still with me? Had a little bloop, but we're back. We're connected. So you were saying you guys are really picky about, and I love this, about your ingredients, that you don't use anything artificial. And
Yeah, so the majority of the people who usually say they're allergic to fragrances, it's because it's artificial. So we want to make sure that everything we're using is like perfectly attuned to the body and natural, and it's like, lying in a field of grass. So we work with essential oils. I love making really interesting, unique formulations and working with oils that are different from what most people have. Like you will never find just like a lavender spray in our arrangements because I don't know, there's just like something magical about the synergy of putting 6 or 7 or 8 things together and it creating something totally new.
I love
Um, that being said, what we're actually the best at is flower essences. So to me, if we were talking about like an ice cream sundae, the cherry on top is the essential oils. What's really like creating the majority of the transformational changes in people is the flower remedies. And that's completely different in that it's doesn't have a scent. It's closer to homeopathy if you want to compare modalities. And it's really the life force of the flower. Why the flower? Because it's the reproductive system. So we're capturing the chi, the energy, the life force from the flower. And then we do several dilutions. So I go out into the wild and collect special flowers, make the dilutions, and then, have worked with clients for almost 25 years. So it's been a lifelong study. I've seen incredible things happen with flower essences. I will never be over my love affair with them because every month I'm discovering something new or many things new.
some.
And I couldn't be more excited about the prospect of reaching more women who are pregnant because not only have we seen amazing things, but the thought of providing the most like stressless, easeful, joyful experience for both mom and baby, and it's like the first 9, 10 months of the baby's life, and there's so many things happening in the womb. If we can reduce stress for mom, we can reduce stress for the baby. And it's just what a wonderful way to start off.
So tell us more. I'm kind of a science head, so I like to understand kind of the behind the scenes. How does flower essence help us? What does it do?
Yeah.
We
It
working with, I know it's like frequencies, right? But
yeah.
can you explain it a little better for me?
Yeah, and I mean, if even if people are like, that sounds weird, there's energy from flowers. They've done studies in the UK in the University of Bristol where they show that bees actually aren't drawn to flowers based on color or scent like we thought. That what's actually going on is the flower is emitting these little electrical impulses, like very subtle electricity, and the bees can feel it on the little hairs on their legs. And so there's this crazy dynamic communication occurring between the bees and the flowers. And it's precisely that we're that we're collecting and gathering and bottling in a sense, which is interesting because if you're actively working with flower essences, sometimes the bees will come around, real gentle bees. And it's like they think you're a flower because you're vibrating like a flower. It's just the weirdest thing. Or we'll have bees in the summertime that are always like trying to get into our building because I think they feel that there's some kind of field of flowers in here, but it's not. It's just where we keep all of our mother essences. So how would I describe it? It's like if you're familiar with acupuncture, right? Acupuncture is all these different kind of roadways and meridian systems and points that are like access points to your whole everything, your organs, what's happening to you physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, energetically. So the use of flower remedies is like an acupuncture treatment without the needles. So rather than being able to like tap into a specific point and release stagnancy, you can take flower remedies internally or externally, and they're moving at the speed of light in this very subtle electricity way through all the different meridian systems of your body, releasing stagnancy, balancing imbalances, and basically harmonizing your whole energetic system. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. When we die, so this physical flesh body, time's up, I'm out of here. The part of me that leaves the body, you can call it soul, you can call it consciousness, they've weighed it. It's about 21 grams. And the body completely changes, right? Like I have a friend who is a massage therapist and she went to some, crazy, amazing workshop in Colorado where they dissect cadavers to see what's underneath the muscles. So they can like, in the fascia, and they like, she was like, I just want to know what's under there. Like, what am I actually massaging? And she had this aha moment when she realized that this 95-year-old man that they were opening, all his fascia and muscles were like silk. Like there wasn't one knot in his whole system. And she realized, oh my gosh, that means that all of our, mental tension, emotional thoughts, triggers, things that are going on in our life are not about really the physical body. And anyone who works in the field of energy medicine would agree. And so what we're targeting really with the flower remedies is those 21 grams of us that leaves or that comes in, that comes into the baby body, the fetus, right? So when you work with all those subtle energies of what makes us really, truly special in us, everything else kind of falls into line. Your emotions are easier. Your mind is quieter and slower. Your body relaxes tension. And we always would say that if you have a physical imbalance, it's because it's gone through all these different layers of your etheric bodies and subtle bodies and emotions and thoughts. And then if we continue to just kind of ignore it, then it manifests as like a red flag in our physical body. So we're forced to do something about it. So the exciting thing about flower remedies is we're just going right back to the beginning, which is like your 21 grams, like what makes you so essential and unique and special, like your own fingerprint, but in like a space way, like the energy way, because we all know that we're made of light. So that's really what we're working with. And that's what we're working with in mama and in baby and in everybody really, and pets, animals.
So how can we keep coming back to kind of like helping prepare through pregnancy and like that's kind of where it starts as far as it's concerned, but also like I've watched moms go through birth that has been maybe they had trauma before and the birth has kind of like healed that trauma, but I've also seen it reopen wounds or create secondary trauma or complex trauma. Especially, and I know this isn't the only thing that it can help with, but especially with someone who has experienced trauma in the past, how can this support, the pregnancy to give them a more fearless birth?
Yeah, flower essences just have this a unique way of pulling out the intensity of whatever the experience or the body memory is. We've worked with even, folks who have come back from war and they've been shot or stabbed or bombs gone off. And that information or those memories get stored in the cells of the body, much in the same way, like if I, gave birth and it was really traumatic, that would also be stored in the fascia of my body. So flower essences can help release. It's not like you'll forget the experience, but it's like releasing the intensity of it and allowing the body, the physical body component, to really let go of whatever energy it's holding on to in the tissues. Because really, our system is designed to protect us. So it's like a protective mechanism. And it's like the beauty of flowers, coming into our system and saying, you don't have to protect anymore. Like, you're okay. You can let go of that. You can let go of the grip of the protective mechanism. And that can be for birth experiences. Yeah, it can be for, violence. It could be for sexual abuse, or like just, even just like I feel uncomfortable in my body, or like I don't feel comfortable getting naked in front of strangers and having to open up my everything. There's so many different things that can kind of trigger throughout that experience. Uh, in the world of flower essences, we store in our cellular memory up to 7 to 8 generations back in our family lineage. So sometimes it's not even us. Sometimes it's like our great grandma or great great grandpa, or, maybe our great 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 grandma gave birth in a barn somewhere and it was really uncomfortable. But there's some little tiny, teeny, tiny percentage of a something in our cells that have that memory, right? So the idea is, how do we turn the volume down on the things that are not us, and then turn the volume up on what is really us? What is our true nature? How can we trust our own sense of courage and expression and ability to do what we need to do? And then there's even, all the experiences that we have from womb until now that kind of color or filter the way we see reality. We would say that very few of us actually see reality as it is. We see it through this filter of experiences, right? It's like, seems silly, but like they really lock in sometimes. Or you could be 5 years old and on the playground, and I'm like, hey, Ann, you want to be my friend? And if you just weren't feeling it that day and you're like, nope, that could register and then color the way that I interact with people in my adult years, right? So it's about taking those experiences as well as anyone that we've been intimate with. That information also we exchange and gets stored in our bodies for up to 7 years. Unless you're working with flower essences, you can shorten it to 1 year. But so it's like the people that you're really spending a lot of time with, that you're intimate with, and then all the experiences you've had in your whole family lineage. I mean, it's like, sometimes I think about that and I'm like, it's a wonder we're all walking around with our heads on straight.
I think we are anyway. I think we talked about Valor before. The essential oil that I use, it's from Young Living, but I love using that one in birth, and it seems to like give people confidence. I call it confidence in a bottle. But when we were talking about it, you asked me what ingredients were in there, and I said, I think the blue tansy is like the magic potion part of Valor. And you put up something about blue tansy. Do you remember? You said you
Yeah.
were just starting to work with it or something, or you had just added
Yeah.
it to a blend.
I just thought it was such a great synchronicity because in my world, I understand essential oils kind of more through the botanical perfumery element. So I'm just looking at like what smells good and what's gonna like support what the flower essences are doing. And we actually put blue tansy in a blend called Luscious Embodiment. And that's the one I recommend for all mamas who are or for all women really who are trying to get pregnant, who are pregnant, or who just want to feel more comfortable in their bodies, or maybe they've had an uncomfortable sexual experience in the past, or maybe it's like, could I be a mom? Am I going to be a mom? Do I want a baby? I don't know if I want a baby, but I think I want a baby. Like all of those like aspects of ourselves, and then also being able to embody all parts of ourselves. Like I find that especially women, we want to be like nice, like we want to be like the nice girl.
Yeah.
But like we're not always nice. Like sometimes we're the bitch, sometimes we're fierce, sometimes we're angry, sometimes we're advocating for someone else, sometimes we're sexy, sensuous, seductive. Like there's
Nice
all of
serve
that.
the situation. Yeah.
Right. So rather than like just embodying nice, it's like how can we really like access all the parts of us and not necessarily express all of that, although we can too, but it's like making friends with all of those parts. So we can just, fully embody ourselves as we are here, lusciously, and just enjoy being here.
Yeah, I love that.
It's also our number one fertility remedy. So it has squash blossom, which is squash blossom flower essence, which it's kind of like it smooths out any of those worries about would I be a good mother? Would I make a good mother? Also the past sexual trauma and fertility and just being open to holding another being in our bodies.
Squash blossom. I've never even heard of that one yet.
Crazy,
That's
right?
awesome. I love it. I love
There's
every
there's
time I learn stuff.
there's another flower that is like woman's best friend because it regularizes cycles, and that's the pomegranate flower. We use it in a blend called Radiant Energy. Pomegranate does so many things. It helps make sure we're not taking on too much stress from other people. It amplifies our ability to be creative, but it also cleanses the reproductive system for both men and women. So like past sexual partners or just in terms of like health wise, cleansing the system. And it makes your cycles like clockwork. So if you, start working with pomegranate and you hook up to like an app, you'll see that it's like it on the day to the moment, right? That your period will come. And I think that's so helpful for women trying to get pregnant and pinpoint their peak ovulation times, or like trying not to get pregnant, or just trying to get everything online without PMS and cramping and stuff.
Sure. That sounds like a really good one for like people who are empaths and struggle with just encounter. I know for myself, I can get overwhelmed really quickly because people call it your superpower. I'm like, I don't know about being a superpower some days because I take on way too much, way too many other people's stuff, feelings. I just look at a person and if they're having a bad day, I'm like, oh, so that sounds like a good one as far as protection, especially like I'm thinking for doulas going into a hospital setting where
Oh,
you may encounter all kinds of different people's energy. And a lot of doulas come to doula work because they are empaths in some level. So that could be a really, really helpful one. What blend do you have that has the pomegranate flower in it?
it's called Radiant Energy.
Energy, you said that. Okay. I'm writing all
And
this.
actually, just like an interesting tip,
Mhm.
um, if anyone has a pomegranate tree or lives where there are pomegranate trees, another way that you can protect yourself is to pull off a leaf and just like tuck it in your bra. And then you go to the hospital, you do your thing, and then you're on your way home. And then you just pull it out and toss it out the window as you're driving home.
Hi to all those
Um,
energies.
yeah, it will pull it in and then you can just toss it out.
It's a great tip. I love that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Awesome. So let's wrap it up. I just love everything you said today. I was taking notes as I'm listening to you. How can people find these things? I know for me, I think I stumbled across a quiz. I love quizzes. And I think I stumbled across a quiz on like Instagram that said, pick the flower and see what floral essence is was calling to you or whatever. And I love flowers. I love essential oils. I love crystals. So all that was very appealing to me. And I went there and that's how I found Boundless Wisdom. That was my first one that I ever got. But I have since just grabbed a whole bunch more. I have a bunch more and they they tell me which one I need to use when I need to use it. I just like, no, okay, I need to grab my, divine truth today or my truth teller or my inner peace. Um, so you have a fun quiz on like the front page of your website. I'm going to put, so in the comments, guys, in the blog, I'm going to put the link to the website. Do you want me to just put lotuswei.com?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. All right. So I'll put that. But tell us also about the San Center.
Right. Okay. Well, let me backtrack to the quiz. Let me just say this is like we have, fertility stuff and pregnancy stuff. We have all kinds of support if you're like looking for like what exactly do I need? And you can follow our recommendations or you can just take the quiz, which is like I don't know how many gazillions of like, there's I think 16 different like slides where you, okay, pick that one's my favorite. That one's my favorite. You just pick all the ones that visually you're drawn to. Visually, it's like a way of muscle testing visually, you know, like your body knows exactly what it needs. So you just pick, you can't pick the wrong one. And then we'll give you like the top 3 for where you're at right now. Because maybe it's something that, you know, isn't in the ones that we would recommend, but it's particularly for what you need. The San Center it's a self-arising nature center in Phoenix, Arizona. And we're open. When are we open? For sessions, we're open Monday through Saturday, and then the store is open Wednesday through Saturday. So there's a store where you can come in and get flower readings and have tea and eat dark chocolate. We also have an acupuncturist and an applied kinesiology chiropractor. And then we have a lot of visiting practitioners. So, you know, people who are like incredible experts in healing from all over the world are, you know, going to be added to our calendar. We have a meeting today about it. Everything from, you know, healing practitioners to like Tibetan monks coming for the sand mandala to ikebana flower arranging, like all the things that are just going to like nourish us, you know. So you're welcome to come and visit. It's a giant space and there's tons of people here just waiting to support and help.
Awesome. And we're hoping to bring a doula training to the San Center. We're bouncing dates around right now, but yes, that's going to be so amazing. I can hardly wait.
Yeah, we look forward to having you guys.
Well, thank you so much for your time today. We're going to end it here, but if anyone has any more questions or need more information, you know how to reach her. Check out the link at the bottom of the blog post here. And it's been so great to have you. Thank you, Katie.
Thanks, Sam.